I became
this sober vet.
Yo live, yo live, yo live, wow.
Our mission is to normalize sobriety with veterans who are using and abusing substances in a harmful, self-medicating way. All right, welcome world to This Sober Vet. I am Army veteran Joe Urick, joined by Army veteran Dr. Teresa Thomas. And if no one told you yet today, sobriety looks good on you. So, Dr. T, we're going to hit these people with some therapetizing, whatever that.
We'll take it.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to jump right in with a question. So the question today is, how can veterans find a trauma-competent therapist who actually gets military culture?
That's a really good question, Joe. You want to use some veteran-specific directories. Veteran Affairs, of course, has some VA providers that are trained in military culture and trauma. Given Hour also has connects veterans and families with therapists who are volunteers who understand military life. And also you want to look for key credentials and trainings, EMDR certifications, experience with PTSD, combat trauma, and moral injury. If they have military background or extensive work with veterans, that's important as well. And there are some questions that you can ask. What experience do you have working with veterans or active duty? What trauma therapies do you use? How do you approach combat trauma or moral injury? Another one, are you familiar with military structure, deployments, and reintegration challenges? Now, there are some that are out there that you can find, but these are some of the things to look for when you're looking for someone that understands military culture.
Ooh, do you hear that, world? You have just been therapetized. Good job, Dr. T. Thank you for that.
You bet.
All right. We are going to jump right into this episode, which I'm super pumped about. Today we have with us retired Army Company Sergeant Major of Special Forces, Mark Baylis, who is also the founder and CEO of the Valor Clinic Foundation, and he is sober and thriving. So welcome, Mark. How are you doing today?
Outstanding. Welcome.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Likewise. Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. So if you don't mind, let's just start at the beginning of your story. How did you join the military?
I joined the Army the day they swore Ronald Reagan in as president, thinking we were going to take our hostages back from the Iranians. I may be a rare person here, but I'm glad we're thumping their ass now. So different. I wish we'd have done it sooner. But I did 26 years active duty. I was medically retired from injuries I received in Baghdad in 2003. And I was fortunate to do 3 tours in the drug war, a couple times as an advisor into Cambodia, the initial invasion of Afghanistan, the invasion of Panama, the Thunder Run into Baghdad, and another trip into Baghdad. So it was an honor to stand up for our Constitution throughout those years, and when I got out hurt, they lost my retirement papers. I hit the ground like a private, and took quite a bit of time to untangle it. But I learned some things the hard way, and with what I learned fixing my own problems, I started helping other veterans. And one of the troubling things I learned was every time I helped a homeless or unemployed vet getting access into the system for disability benefits, there was a mental health injury involved. Mm-hmm. And it put me on the course of how do we fix it, because they weren't happy with the options available to them. I'm encouraged that the good Dr. T here has experience with finding positive doctors. The vets at the user level struggle with that regularly, in my experience. And so we went to work and trying to figure out ways to recover homeless vets to stay permanently housed. The recidivism rates are crazy, and helping the PTSD vets find places they felt comfortable sharing their story and working through their traumas. And we ended up working with a doctor, I call her the genius hippie lady, that wrote a book called Don't Bring It to Work. She does most of her therapy stuff helping women break through the glass ceiling in the corporate world.
Great.
But it was remarkable how much she taught us about trauma behavior change sequence. And and all of a sudden our lights were coming on like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. The family struggles, the relationship problems at work. In our experience, the relationship problems are epidemic, and if the science that she was teaching to us is valid, and I believe it is, the trauma elevates your protectionist behaviors subconsciously, and then your subconscious protectionist behaviors come disruptive to relationships. And as the relationships break down from there, life can start falling apart. The relationships at work, the relationships at family. If you can't keep your job because you can't get along with people, and you can't keep your immediate support relationship, familial relationships together, pretty soon nobody wants you in the house, and very soon you're under a bridge or so fed up with the collapse that you're hurting yourself. And which made a lot of sense to us on feedback from vets. When we did like a strange version of prototype, we'd send a vet to a program. They'd come back to us, we'd debrief them. Hey, was that one good? And we'd get their feedback. And if they didn't like it, we'd send them to another one, we'd get their feedback, and send them to another one and get their feedback. And then we realized in our perception, I'm sure Dr. T is an exception, but none of the doctors understood a trauma sequence that made the changes for veterans. And the two big changes were, we make no mistakes, people die. So our attention to detail level is an elevated version of hypervigilance before we introduce trauma. Before we introduce trauma, most doctors didn't understand how do you diagnose an educated behavior that would appear as a mental health problem. How do you handle that differently? Hey, tone that down. It's causing your relationship problems, et cetera, versus trauma-induced hypervigilance, which is an injury problem that needs a different solution, right? Then you need Dr. T. One, you need some education. One, you need, and the sequence basically of the mindset, the start point, right? Start point. Where are you at when the trauma happens? Is we go to it. Generally, it doesn't come to us. We go to the problem, right? And we know the trauma's coming, anticipating well in advance. Here it comes. It happens, and then we tighten our ball of string to keep ourselves together through, usually with very little decompression time, to get rid of it, and then we go do it again the next day, right? Civilians, generally, it comes to you once, and so those. The start point for the trauma behavior sequence is different because we're trained to an elevated hypervigilance to begin with. And then so our start point is a more elevated awareness. And then we throw the trauma on that and send it up in a culture of people that pay attention to everything from the little thread on the pocket of their shirt. I mean, right? And when they go home with that elevated version, they can't ignore the kid toy on the floor. They can't ignore the dish in the sink. How did I patrol in Baghdad watching asymmetric everything through sleep plans and gunfire and fields of fire and call them and use the radio and yada, yada, yada. And, oh my God, and I can't come home. They can't put away the fucking toys, right? I hear that in the sink, the dish in the sink all the time. Well, we can laugh, but we are who we are, right? As a culture, if we talk stereotypes.
Right.
And and those are particularly the E5, E6, and there are shades of gray. We could have a conversation about the shades of gray. Whose trauma is more severe? The triage nurse who's been watching the casualties, and then hears the mortar round come in, and in their head, all of a sudden, they're the casualties right away, right? Which is, or the infantry guy, gal, that's getting hit with pieces of people in a roadside bomb. who's better prepared for the reaction when the roadside bomb happens, where the nurse is gender neutral. The nurse is helpless to what's coming and visualizing. Uh, the, the fuel pumper in those fields with the bladders of fuel waiting for the trucks and the helicopters, and
Yeah.
they hear the artillery round coming in. They're, oh no, I'm going to burn to death. I'm going to live 10 seconds. And are they wrong? No. But it's clearly different than the Navy SEAL busting in the door, exploding the door, and running through it while the debris is still in the air, getting hit in the face with the doorknobs while they're still trying to stay focused on the gunfight in front of them. Right? It's war is different depending on where you stand on the battle space. Is my point. And I believe the preparation for where you are in the battle space changes the emotional response. Prepared, I'm pitching versus oh no, I'm catching, or different aspects. Even how do you make it the same for everybody in the veteran space is might be the biggest problem because of our shades of gray, I'll call it, or perspectives. But we built our own program. We said, screw these people. We built our own. We used education. The doctor taught us,
Yeah.
and now most of our feedback was from the vets. Was like, I don't know what the hell that lady did, but I talk to my kids different now, and and my wife and I don't fight all the time, right?
Yeah.
And we started rolling with that, and years later found a CDC study that talked about circumstances in suicide, and mental health was the second focus, and there was some really interesting data in there that made us scratch our head and go, oh, that sounds more like us. We deal with the circumstances, not the mental health, right?
Yeah.
And but the circumstances were life stressor, relationship collapse, long-term physical health problems, substance abuse addiction, and long-term financial unemployment problems. And we saw the domino from relationship down as a sequence of events that end up. We're the topic of this. Right. So two real important columns in that in the chart they had in what I was reading was with a mental health problem, without a mental health problem. With a mental health problem, when you're talking the broad numbers across the country, more people have a mental health problem that commit suicide than vets don't. And if you go to the vet line, all of a sudden it flips, and it flips radically. Far less vets have a mental health problem than do on the suicide data from that study. And remarkably big difference, like 1/3 of them do and 2/3 of them don't. That's rounded off numbers, not exact.
Okay.
And in the main demographic, it's slightly heavy. It's like 52-48, right? 52% have a mental health problem, 48% don't. But that includes the veteran numbers. If you take the veteran numbers out, all of a sudden that swings quite a bit. And because we're like 17% of the study, 17.8, I think, demographic wise. And if we're 7% or 7.1% of the population and 17.8% of the suicides, that's even a more glaring number than the number a day, in my opinion. But statistically, like, wow, that's crazy. That's like 1 in 5 for the whole country. And doesn't make sense. But enough of me rambling. But we've not had a suicide in our circle in 14 years.
Wow. That's outstanding.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I think the doctor's going to punch me in the head, and I'm going to deserve it. But I think we need to think about non-medicinal recovery things. And if we can do upstream interventions to fix the relationship problems and get them better past the physical health problems, we have less end up at the addiction problem. And why do I believe the addiction problem is every bit as important as you think the addiction problem is? Because all the mental health, damn near every veteran suicide with a mental health problem includes a substance abuse problem. And which doesn't leave many left further without the suicide, without the mental health problems, suicides. That means they're all falling in the physical health and the relationship problems, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at it through a different lens like that, how do we? I think we still have learning to do on this topic, and anyway, I've rambled too much. You're the smart guys. I'm just some knucklehead out here running a small charity trying to change the world.
You're doing the damn thing though.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well,
Attention veteran entrepreneurs, we've got a special announcement just for you. Marathon Business Advisory Services is proud to present a unique opportunity, a J-Dog franchise, veteran owned and ready for its next chapter. Whether you're looking to own your first business or grow through acquisition, this could be the perfect fit. And the best part, it's completely confidential, with no cost and no obligation to explore the opportunity. Just reach out to Jay Calandra at j.calandra@marathonbas.com to learn more. Support veteran success. Build your future. Let Marathon guide the way.
we've had pretty good luck with our encouraging the change. We don't generally do the rehab programs ourselves. We do the encourage, hey, it's time to make the change,
Yeah.
and then find partners to get them into substance abuse. As we believe substance abuse in all forms is corrosive to relationships, and if relationships are the final domino that knocks us off the board, where we say screw it and give up on ourselves, then we have to manage. I call it breaking the monkey's fingers. We gotta break the monkey's grip on the vets. And
Now we want to know your story. How
you want to know my
your
story?
journey? Yeah, your journey.
Which part of my journey? Way back in the day, I listened to some of his podcast, Joe's podcast stuff, and about his past. And I used to drink quite a bit too. And when I was a staff sergeant, I came home from the drug war, and I was stationed in Panama. We used to go out in the rural parts in the jungle and then find beach space with nobody around and drink Miller Lights till we were stupid, right? And then drive like fools through the woods, through the jungle, back to humanity. And one day I almost rolled my Ford F-150 with a bunch of my friends sitting in the back, but no seat belts, no nothing. I went home and went, this is probably a bad idea. Maybe if I want to keep a career in the Army, I better change some things. And I just cold turkey one day. I don't think I was addicted. I think I was on the road and saw the warning lights and went, you know what? And then after I retired from the Army, I can have 2 or 3 beers and that's it. Cut myself off, and the keys to her, go home. And that's kind of where I adjusted. I worry about the medicinal marijuana thing. I worry about the opiate painkillers, because I've got torn ligaments in both ankles, both knees, both hips, rods in my lower spine, pins and rope holding my right shoulder on, 4 bad discs in my neck, 7 more between my shoulder blades, and I just had the left shoulder redone.
Wow.
Because
Dang, Mark. Okay.
I played commando for 26 years. I mean, it wasn't like, and I'm not disparaging somebody who's a pack clerk, but it is clearly not the same thing as Airborne Ranger Infantry. It's not.
Right.
And so I went from Airborne Ranger Infantry at the 2nd Ranger Battalion to 23 years and 9 months with Special Forces. I earned my beret before they had a Special Forces tab, because I'm an old fat guy, right? And that's what happens when you're an old fat guy, that you have a history people don't recognize. But before they even had SFAS, they had something called pre-phase, and they just beat you up for 3 weeks. That's all they did, was beat you up for 3 weeks and see if you would quit. And if you didn't quit, they went, okay, we'll let you try the course. And then they beat you up formally for several months after that. That's what it was.
Where were you at mentally in that phase to keep you going through all that constant beatings?
You kind of make up your mind what you want to do at some point. I remember in the younger, I got hypothermia pretty bad going through the Ranger Indoctrination Program, which was what they called it before they called it RASP, Ranger Assessment and Selection. And I remember more than once going, man, what am I doing here? Why don't I quit?
Yeah.
And then there's a certain thing in the back of your head while you're feeling that way. Oh man, am I going to be able to get up and go another step? Are they really coming after us again? It was a personal best every day while you were completely exhausted and not eating. And in Washington State, and in the fall. The mornings were really cold. The evenings were what they were. And then pre-Ranger, it was full winter time for me for that. And I'm here to tell you, it was something. And but at some point you're looking around at your friends, and a lot of them are quitting, and you don't want to be the one quitting, and you just keep stepping. And there is no hard thing. Finding it in yourself to do that next one thing, that's another question. That's another question. That's where people kind of, hey, I can't, and
That where
they
grit
go,
comes in, right?
yeah, yeah,
Grit.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I lost 42 pounds in Ranger School, and I wasn't fat when I got there.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
it's a crazy, you're working 22-hour days on one C ration. When I went, they didn't have MREs weren't invented yet, and the I graduated in class 10-82, and so that
Okay.
was a minute ago, right?
Just a little bit.
Started Special Forces training in July of '83,
Okay.
and
Wow. Now, once you were in Special Forces, what was the first moment where you're like, wow, like I have arrived. This is exactly what I thought I'd be doing in my head. This is totally badass. What was that moment?
Did you have that moment?
I don't know that I ever had that moment. I just kept tracing the want to do more. My first piece, there wasn't a lot of war going on when I first got out. Now I was in Special Forces when Delta Force and the Rangers were handling Grenada. Some of my Special Forces friends were in Lebanon for the Beirut bombing, and but I was at Bragg and kind of got bypassed by some of that. There's a I ended up in a book called Cry Havoc because I got invited to go to Grenada and didn't realize I was being invited to go to Grenada by the invasion was classified, and somebody knew and was going from Fort Bragg to link back up with the Rangers to go be part of it. And I was doing Kevin Lannon, may he rest in peace, great guy, dear
Okay.
friend of mine while he was with us. He was my platoon medic in the Ranger Battalion. Him, Mark Fincher, and I are all going through Special Forces training together. And he gets a message, a coded message. Hey, come to Hunter Army Airfield and get there quick. And the little code word is, hey, we're being alerted, we're going, but he doesn't know where. I
Yeah.
don't know that at the time. But we're like, hey, Kevin, man, we're going up to my house for the weekend. We're gonna go to this party. We're gonna meet these girls. We're gonna drink beer. We're gonna have fun, right? And he's like, no, man, you don't want to go there. You want to come to Savannah with me. There's better girls in Savannah. And I'm like, no way, man. We don't know any girls in Savannah. Who do you know in Savannah? Yeah. And he's like, I don't know any girls in Savannah, but trust me, there's better girls in Savannah. Come with me. And and Mark Fincher and I laughed at him. And
Wow.
we went to New Jersey for the weekend, and driving back down I-95 in his red Z28, we got the radio on. It's dark. We're trying to make formation at 7 in the morning, and we hear on the news the Rangers just jumped into Panama, and a couple days later we learned Kevin's dead, and
Rest in peace.
he knew that's why he was getting us to go, right? Because he
Yeah.
was a student with us, and may he rest in peace, great guy.
Wow.
In fact, we named the veteran homeless shelter we're still refurbishing in Ohio after him. That's
Oh,
where he's
cool.
from.
Awesome.
Was Dayton, Ohio. So
Okay.
Nice.
yeah, funny stories, right?
Wow.
But
Yeah.
some you miss, some you get. And but while I was in fifth group and all that's going on, I just kept going to school. So I graduated. I took all the opportunities I had. The Special Forces training. I graduated as a heavy weapons sergeant in infantry. MOS with additional skill identifier S.
Okay.
Not long after I graduate, they come out with Career Manager Field 18, which may be more what you're familiar with, and a Special Forces tab. And
Okay.
I got a beret and a full flash is what I got when I graduated, and
Okay.
a additional skill identifier. But and then they come out with Career Management Field 18. And now I'm an 18 Bravo. And 18 Bravos are excess. When I was 11 Charlie Sierra, I was short MOS, and now I'm a excess MOS. So I said, hey, can I go to school and become an 18 Charlie? And they said, yep. I went to
Wow.
school and became an
Wow.
18 Charlie. I tried to use the time as best I could.
Mm-hmm.
And and then shortly after that, it was time to re-up. So I chased a big bonus. I didn't want to be a medic. I re-enlisted to be an 18 Echo and get the big money, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and went and learned to use the radios and hated it. Absolutely despised it. Didn't like it a bit. And just wasn't the calmest thing. Just wasn't me. And
Yeah.
can you ever put on headphones and listen to Morse code? It's
No. No.
it's
No,
it's joyful.
it's not as fun as it sounds.
Nope. So I re-enlisted for first group and got to go over to Thailand and do a little bit over there. And
Mm-hmm.
but they put me in a support position. I didn't want to be a support guy. And oh, by the way, I'm a support guy, commo guy, so I really don't like it. And
Right.
so I did the Bear program when I first did the bonus extension re-enlistment,
Mm-hmm.
and so really I was still on an extension from the radio training. I didn't get my re-enlistment bonus yet. I didn't really sign the long-term contract,
Okay.
and so I didn't like where I was. I said, "Can I go to a team now?" They told me no twice, and then I went down the re-up guy and re-enlisted for 37, 3rd Battalion, 7th Special Forces Group
Mm-hmm.
in Panama, and went down there, and we got to do. I got to travel all over the place. I went to Ecuador doing some things, kind of as an advisor, uh, and uh, and then went to Bolivia for 2 tours that amounted to more than a year. I got to be fortunate to work with some people to do some really big drug busts and leave behind some legacy counter drug things.
Mm-hmm.
Got to blow up an airplane and do some other things that were kind of
Nice.
entertaining.
Okay. Okay.
And after 2 tours of that, I went to Colombia for a period of time on the first counter narco military advisor package
Mm-hmm.
to teach the Colombians how to chase the narco people, and that was an interesting experience. And I have a funny story from that. You want to hear a funny story from Colombia?
Yeah, please.
Please.
We're in mostly civilian clothes. Anytime you're off base, you're in civilian clothes. But there's bounties. The Americans are here, and that's not good. The narco terrorist people wanted a trophy, so we get to carry pistols into town, and one day we're walking back in from town. Down these cobblestone roads, and they have all these old 1950s vehicles that they're probably still making vehicles with 1950s body
Mm-hmm.
part molds and things. It's interesting. They buy up when a car stops being produced in the United States. They buy up all the pieces to make the parts, and then they make them in South America. Kind of an
Right.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's 1 in the morning. We stayed out too late, and the this car goes driving by us real slow. We're in drug country, right? Manufacturing narco-terrorist country. We're walking down the cobblestone road. We get out of the way. This car goes by, kind of full of smoke. You can see the shadows of the heads. They go by really slow, and we're like, Car goes up the next intersection, turns around, and comes back at us even slower. And we're
Oh.
like all hands on our backs on
Yeah.
pistol butts
Uh-huh.
and spreading out. And car comes to a stop dead next to us. The windows come down, smoke billows out. It's marijuana smoke, not cigarette smoke.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And who is it? It's all the young officers for the counter drug unit.
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
Get out. Get
I'm
out.
telling you, it was
Oh.
like, oh, this is going to be a hard thing to do.
What? That's crazy.
That
It's
is
going to be a
wild.
hard thing to do. And
Oh,
we're all ready to shoot, and it's our counter
yes.
drug officers stoned out of their minds.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Nice.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, this is crazy.
Yes.
So I have a question. With your extensive career, have you witnessed any other soldiers that were affected by alcohol and maybe it ruined their careers? Or can you speak on that at all?
Tons of them failing urine tests and
Yeah.
getting thrown out, DUIs and getting thrown out, and 300 stories. I don't know, but it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard, and
Mm-hmm.
what do soldiers do when they play hard? they're either playing rugby or scuba diving or skydiving, or drinking hard
Yeah.
and or trying to figure out how to hide marijuana use or something worse.
Are you enjoying these stories of veterans totally rocking it with sobriety? Here at This Sober Vet podcast, we want to keep bringing these warriors' tales of triumphs to you. However, we need your help to make that happen. We're in need of sponsors for This Sober Vet podcast. That's right, now's the time to show your support, advertise your brand, or just make a monetary donation. It's easy. Just go to our website, www.thissobervet.com. To become a sponsor, fill out the form on our contact page. To donate, just click on Support the Mission. Let's keep shining a light for those still in the dark.
Tell you one that to remain nameless, we sent a team into Laos on a blended demining thing and kind of gathering information about any lost POWs that might still be there. There's still a task force working out of Hawaii trying to get remains throughout Eastern Asia and parts of North Korea. They have some successes without question,
Okay.
but a gentleman's last name was Lane. I won't put his first name on, but he goes over into Laos with a small group of people working over there and finds out that the heroin opiate thing is very pure, and he knows he's far away where he's not getting a urine test for X amount of time. And they go to check on him in his room, dead as a brick.
Yeah.
Dead as a brick.
Yeah.
And he always had that goth look about him for forever, where you kind of wondered, was he using for extended period of time, or was this a once and he had no tolerance? And but my inkling is Mr. Lane had an addiction problem, and went over there with nothing was cut at all, and here we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great guy. He was an 18 Charlie that no longer shares the space with us, but and it's all addiction, right?
Yeah.
And I could think of others on the DUI side, but general officers even. General officers even that sometimes got looked the other way because
They were
they were general
officers.
officers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when the DUI goes back to you to prove if you get in trouble or not, guess what?
You should not get in trouble. Yeah. Wow.
Well, we can't hide from the reality of how that system works, right? It goes into the blotter, it comes down. Who's it go to? Who makes the decision? What happens?
Exactly.
Yeah. That general opens up the drawer, pulls out a shovel, and buries it, right?
Exactly. Yep.
But it's happened with a few CSMs I know too. But I have more stories with them getting after they get out, self-medicating that way and refusing and thinking the system owes them something that they can do differently. I have one that I just had asked to leave my homeless shelter. Our zoning does not allow active recovery or active addiction where they close us down. So I don't have a lot of latitude when one falls off the wagon.
Right.
And so we give them a fork in the road. You're either going to rehab or you have to go live someplace else. And I'll call him JJ. JJ has wrestled with substance abuse problems since he got out so severely he has had difficulty getting through the VA process. In and out of homelessness, lots of problems where it's been destructive for his life. And in his view, they crank me up on all this crap to go run in there, and then I come home with all this shit going on in my head. Are you guys familiar with what happened with the Black Hearts in Sauter City?
No.
From the 101st, huge problem. They start trying to take out this whole residential part of the city to the point where the whole thing's billowing in smoke. And people that are non-combatants are trying to run out of the smoke, and they have blocking positions all around the city on all that routes that they can come out.
Okay.
And they're being told by their bosses to keep shooting. And they have a big civilian casualty, moral injury, I'm sure is how you would phrase it.
Yes, moral injury.
Yeah, huge moral injury issue. And this guy was a squad leader, 11 Bravo, on top of a vehicle, being told to keep shooting.
Yep.
When all he could see was the shadows of people running in the smoke, and couldn't tell who was who, and was being ordered to keep shooting, and had significant moral injury, but he comes back after his third tour and starts drinking way too much. Goes on drill sergeant duty. You can't hold a bottle in the hours they work on drill sergeant duty
No.
easily. And his first sergeant takes him in the back office and goes, "Hey, look, I know what you did for your country. I'm going to cover your ass as best I can, but my version of covering your ass is patting you on the back when you ETS. You understand me, young man?" And so he gets out with an alcohol problem, and it got worse. It got to powder in his nose and smoking rocks, and he's still. I had him sober for a while, and he relapsed. And then not only did he relapse, he got caught by the police with a pistol, and the drugs, pulled over driving intoxicated. All have that for one fell sweep of. Anyway, and right now we're trying to wrestle the courts to,
Yeah.
and he's very angry that what in his perception was done to him for what he had to do with the moral injury situation,
Right.
and that he's not getting appropriate care, and that he has to figure it out how to do it himself, and that
Okay.
they punish him for that. He gets very upset about that. And the good news is he came to me about a week ago and said, "Hey, Mark, I I need to get in rehab. I need to get in like now." And
Good.
Okay.
and I gave him advice what to do, and then he didn't follow it. I saw him working with a chainsaw the other day. So, but I'm going to go pay him a visit and go, "JJ, why don't you just get in my car?
You
Why
might
don't you
just
just
have to
get in
take
my
them,
car?"
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
You might have to
yeah.
just take them.
And
Yeah.
because he's got his girlfriend's car, he hasn't had a driver's license in 12 years or something because DUIs.
Yeah.
And they may not all have been alcohol DUIs, but they're DUIs. And but he drives his girlfriend's car all over the place. And so I figured he could drive himself. "You really want to go, man? Get in the car, go right now. Walk in the emergency room at the VA. Say,
Right.
hey, this this is where I'm at," and they'll help you. We've sent people there before, and he just won't go on his own. I'm gonna have to load him up. But
But sometimes that's one of the hardest decisions to make. It's going to the VA asking for help.
yeah, we have some of the programs around here are good. Some of them stink. And they're about to close the good one. They have one up here called at Coatesville Medical Center. They have
Okay.
a strange combination of resident behavioral health.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, the
Yep.
Coatesville one's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
where I go.
I I I don't want to say negative to the ones that aren't as good, but the Coatesville one's pretty good. I want to stay on the positive here, and they're looking at maybe closing Coatesville up. We're in the Poconos. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. I don't know if either of you would be interested in trying our retreat program for perspective. But you're welcome. We don't charge vets to come. We
Okay.
run it out of the northern part of Carbon County. I don't know if you know where Interstate 80 is north of you,
I do. I'm
Okay.
but
familiar. Yeah.
we have a 200-acre campus
Nice.
in fact we call it healthy lifestyle changes, and we promote, hey, go out fly fishing, go archery hunting, go
Oh,
hiking,
Wow.
go, instead of going to the bar or smoking weed or whatever. And so we have two big things going on today. We have a homeless outreach thing going in Lansford, and we have a fly fishing event at our Veterans Unstoppable campus in Kidder Township of both in Carbon County.
Oh,
And
those
Nice.
are great. And I know a lot of our guests who are sober now, a lot of them have found a hobby.
great advice.
Yeah, that have found a hobby and have poured into it, and that has really helped in their recovery journey.
Yeah, we call it complementary and alternative approaches to PTSD. We call it CAM. And but and we give it we give like an hour and a half class on find a hobby.
Find a
Yeah.
hobby.
Here's some
Yeah.
options. Think about it,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you got to find something to do that's not destructive and can be a conflict interrupter with your relationship stuff.
Right.
If I'm in love with Dr. T and Dr. T and I are having a moment,
Yep.
And hey, baby, I love you, but we'll talk about this later because I'm hot now and I don't want to tell you something I can't take back. Grab
Right.
my fly rod,
There you
and I'm gonna go
go.
fly fishing, and I'm gonna come back and go, baby, you know when you said
Uh-huh.
the that really chapped my ass because blah 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 blah
There you
blah, right?
go. Using
Yeah.
I
And
statements. I feel. Yeah.
we,
Perfect.
yeah, yeah, we push the four agreements. I don't
Oh,
know if you're familiar with the
good.
book, The Four
Yeah, the
Agreements,
book.
but you
Uh-huh.
got to find some tools to manage the relationships.
Yes.
If they're the big,
Stressor.
woof, if
Yeah.
you're having the big relationship problems, and then you're doing this together, oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And
Yeah.
if you break it down in chunks, say, let's measure this piece, let's manage this piece, let's manage this piece,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we get to a better place. But if you can't get them some combinations of insight to their behaviors
Right.
that are service behaviors that civilians don't understand and create
Mm-hmm.
conflict,
Mm-hmm.
avoid those, right? Find a new way to
Yep.
pitch the topic. Stay true to you. Be honest to yourself,
Right.
but avoid the potholes, if you will, of our behavior
Mm-hmm.
norms that cause problems in civilian life.
Yep.
We use the four agreements as one of the big ones, and then we give like 3 hours of classes on relationship responsibilities and how attitudes and we do 3 1-hour classes on that kind of stuff.
That is great.
That is
This
great.
Yeah,
is good
but
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but
Nice.
we
So, Mark, I have a
getting that
quick
whole
question.
drinking thing ain't working for you, young man. You
Yeah.
need to put that bottle down. Come
Yeah.
Yeah.
on, let's go fishing.
Yep.
So I
Right?
heard you say earlier that you were against marijuana use, where I know there's some people out there that do the California sober thing where they quit
Mm-hmm.
drinking, but they still either do edibles or smoke weed. So
Mm-hmm.
can you speak on marijuana use and what your
Yeah.
thoughts are?
I believe in the short term, marijuana is helpful. I'll say that up front. I believe in the short term, marijuana is helpful. Keyword is short term. The issue that I have with marijuana isn't the short term benefit of, hey, it helps it hurt less, it helps it this, I get out of my own head, I'm happier, works for my depression. I don't question those things.
Mm-hmm.
I question the long term piece of the number of studies that talk to long term chronic marijuana use leads to psychosis and schizophrenia. And I don't think the long term success rate for this new approach that we're doing now medicinally,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's ignoring the the cliff. We're like, oh, but that's going to be a really big problem in the future when
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
the chronicness effects manifest on top of emotional scars that create social conflict issues anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're gonna make them paranoid schizophrenics on top. Oh, that's a bad plan. This isn't a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Right.
This isn't a good idea. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so that's my Lorax voice from the forest. Hey, don't cut down the trees.
Nice.
It will be interesting to see the I have some really good friends that have said a lot of positive things about the psychedelics, and it's
Yeah.
interesting that we're on the
Mm-hmm.
podcast today. And what
Mm-hmm.
was it yesterday? The president signs a executive order
He did.
authorizing
Yep.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
exploration and use of the psychedelics.
It's
Psychedelics.
like it, yeah,
Yeah.
because Tim Jensen posted that. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
had a guest, Tim Jensen, on. He was our season one closer. He's the COO of Grunt Style Clothing Company.
Mm-hmm.
Huge supporter of psychedelics. He was talking about what it did for
Yeah,
him. Not
Yeah.
only did it get him to quit drinking, it got him to quit smoking cigarettes. And
Mm-hmm.
he said it basically like reset his brain and wiped away the PTSD. He had nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah. And I say also, psychedelics have come. They're old. They've been around, but they can help and be beneficial. However, there are some people who should not partake in psychedelics if you like borderline, not borderline, bipolar disorder. Some of those things that you have are not going to be beneficial for you if you use psychedelics. So check before you use is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
okay, I'm on board with you. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
I know no brain, no pain. That's what I know. That's my life,
Mhm.
right? I was a commando. Put more weight on your back, carry more ammo, keep walking. That's me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been doing the Valor Clinic, Mark?
You know, the truth changes with, if you're asking me, when I started doing the same things as a Good Samaritan by myself, that would probably be 2008-9. And
Okay.
but we got our nonprofit status as a 501c3 in January of 2012. And you know, you start putting a board together in the middle of 2011. By the time you get through paperwork and everything, and it was a build on. It was a build on to what I was just doing on my own as a Good Samaritan. So it's a blurry line to answer that question. Uh,
But it's grown. Yeah.
yeah, it was 4,444 vets in 2025.
Awesome.
It was a crazy number. And
Wow.
Awesome.
yeah, and you know, like me by myself calling my friends, hey man, you want to go with me and buy a couple of those bundles of firewood you see at the front of the grocery store and go into that homeless camp and see if we can make friends with the vet and sit around a fire with him and see if we can get him to come out.
Wow.
Okay, I'll go with you. Right? It starts like that,
Yeah.
and uh, and it, you know, we have homeless shelter open for a number of years now, for 12 years open here in Pennsylvania. We have one still in renovation. I think will open in the next 8 or 10 months in Ohio. We have a 200-acre counseling campus. It's it's gone
Wow.
crazy.
I love that.
Yeah,
That
that
We're
is
sounds
about to
amazing.
amazing.
we've been fortunate. He's asked me not to state his name. I just call him the benefactor. But
Okay.
we've been fortunate. A very generous couple uh,
Okay.
led most of the interactions with me and the organization or with the husband.
Mm-hmm.
But the wife is awesome too. And I don't want to leave her out. But they're buying us they're buying us up. I should say that in the past tense. They bought us
Uh-huh.
a former daycare to make a food security facility in the community,
Ah.
and
Wow.
we're in the process of doing the renovation. So it's not open yet. Is
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of talking future because it's not open yet,
Right.
but we physically own the facility,
That's
and
awesome.
some of the renovations begin. The contractors go in on the 27th,
Mm-hmm.
and for to start the phase one renovations, and we're hoping to have it completely operational for uh, for the Thanksgiving food distribution. We do about 100,000 meals a year, just a touch under 100,000. Uh, Back in like
Wow.
2018, 2019, we were doing more than 100,000, and
Mm-hmm.
the but we it got so big that the 100,000 was a combination of civilians and veterans, and now we're at
Okay.
basically 100,000, but it's just veterans. We stopped
Okay.
with
Wow.
we had to stop with the civilians. It got too big,
Yeah.
and it's oh, you have no idea. It's
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, that's
That
awesome.
is. Talk about impact.
yeah, it was almost 7,000 people last year.
Goodness.
If you reach out and to homeless people in the street with just basic needs,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Dr. T, I love you, but you need some clothes because you don't have a washing machine, and
Yeah.
here's your toothbrush, and here's some canned goods when you go back to the tent so you can eat a little tomorrow and the next day,
Mm-hmm.
and what's wrong with those shoes, girlfriend? Give me those.
Yes.
Come on
Yes.
over here. I got some new ones for you. Right? So some of it is like that, and when we're in where the homeless are, it's a much different flavor because if you say it's just for vets, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like in the rough places where the homeless go to congregate, uh,
Yeah.
often because that's where the food support is. The soup kitchens, they're always a striking distance of the soup kitchens. That's where they can eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And those are usually in the more economically distressed areas, and then it becomes a magnet for the rest, right? And but with that as a backdrop, if you go in those parts of town and saying we're just doing vets, your biggest challenge is that the vets will think they're being rounded up, singled out to be rounded up, and
Mm-hmm.
not to get some special favor, if you will.
Uh,
And we learned the hard way that if we opened it up to all the homeless, one, the civilians would rat out where the vets were and we could go find them. And two, that the vets would just come in hiding in the homeless population because they knew you can't round up the whole homeless population, right?
Yeah.
And we would help 3 times, 2 times, 3 times as many vets as if we did it just for veterans. And so last year we helped ballpark 2,200 homeless civilians in the street in order to find the 14 or 1,500 homeless vets that we helped in the street. And from those, we try to recruit to indoor homeless shelters or partner agencies when we're like our homeless shelter's full today. I couldn't take a homeless vet if I wanted to today
Wow.
because all my beds are full, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but I might know where there's other empty beds, and hey, would you go there? And that's the perfect segue to your show, because which ones won't come in?
Yeah.
The ones that won't put down the bottle
Right.
or the pipe
Yeah.
Right.
or the needle, because there is no homeless facility that will absorb them while they're using. And
Yeah.
even halfway houses won't absorb them while they're using, and it becomes the big, you know, I had one that he might watch this. I'm just going to use a first name, Luke.
Okay.
Luke's substance abuse problems were so bad at one point that while he was homeless in the street, he got so poor that the word is that he was running himself out, we'll say, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In trade for drugs.
Yeah.
And he went, it was really hard to get him to stay on a plane and sober, like impossible.
Yeah.
So we finally get him to come in. He relapses. I have to, and then he gets, not only did he relapse and get intoxicated, he started beating up the other vets in the house. So we have to show him the door.
Right.
Sometime later, you follow up with him. Okay, I put you in the street, but I'm not going to completely abandon you, kind of thing, right? Here you go. Let me see what I can still do for you. But he would get, I'm not a bad person. You shouldn't care that I do these things. Luke, you don't understand. I don't have any latitude to allow you to do those things and not get closed down where I can't help anybody else.
Right.
How can I? You did this yourself, fully knowing you signed a sheet that you understood.
Yeah.
You used anything, you were leaving. He goes, but I'm not a bad person. You shouldn't do this to me. And I was like, and you just couldn't get in his head. He tied drug use to a bad person, and he justified in his mind that if he wasn't a bad person, he should be allowed to do that, and who cares? And you can make a libertarian argument that our Constitution says he's right. We all took an oath to the Constitution, but equally, it's a destructive behavior.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Right.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
And civil society has rules to prevent chaos, and that the bulk of the people can live well, even under our Constitution that's supposed to be minimalist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't, dude. You got to manage your own behavior in a way that your life is okay, and you're not. But he was adamant that as long as he was a good person and wasn't doing evil, that nobody should care and he should be left to be alone. And you have that extreme, and would not stop, would not.
Yeah.
And then you have the JJ extreme, self-medicating to a point of
Yeah.
and angry that they gave me no alternative, and now this is the only thing that works. They sent me off. They caused this, and now I can't.
Right.
And the perspectives, two simple examples, but
Yeah. The distortions, the cognitive distortions of thinking. Yeah.
you
When-
want to hear another stupid one? I'll tell you another stupid one if you want to hear another one.
Yeah, we'll do one more. Go for
What
it.
do addicts do to celebrate? So my biggest oh no is we do their veteran disability benefits, right? We do Social Security disability benefits. When they get a backward payment and get all this,
Back pay. Yeah.
oh, guess what happens?
They party.
They buy cars and drive them to the bar or to the corner guy selling the drugs, and
Mm-hmm.
before you know it,
Ah,
they're they're getting DUIs, crashing the car,
yeah.
overdosing. It's it's almost like the good news that kills, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we've lost them.
If there's a veteran out there listening right now, has never tried rehab, is just tired of the constant rock bottoms and constant, I'm gonna quit on my own, but I just can't, and they're now homeless and they're at wit's end. What advice would you give them in steps to take to get better?
I would tell them to go into the 72-hour detox first and get past wet brain if it's an alcohol problem, or the
Mm-hmm.
sweats, or the Jonesing, or quit being sick, as they different ones call it.
Yeah.
Uh, and and once they're less blurred, because there's residuals there, right? If long-term use,
Mm-hmm.
the when their vision is less blurred about their own life, make some good decisions. A
Yeah.
big part of our process, we we take them through a series of pieces, but the last piece is make a life plan and lead yourself through life from here.
Yeah.
Go forward, controlling your own life. Know what you want it to be and make it that. You
Mm-hmm.
ever read the book The Best Year Your Best Year Ever? The author's last name is Hyatt, and
No.
we do a modified approach of we start them out with some people skills and some diet issues for toxic exposure stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
and figure out what your traumas were and how they impact your behavior. And then
Yeah.
we do the genogram, might be familiar to you.
Yeah.
And then we do a modified version of a genogram called we call it the military timeline. And
Mm-hmm.
the events of their service, who their mentors were, family culture crisis shaped the way you see the world. The way you see the world affects the way you respond to trauma. The way you respond to trauma affects the way you behave to stressors. The way your stressors affect the way you behave
Mm-hmm.
impacts the way you talk to people. The way you talk to people affects the way they treat you back. And that becomes the part where you have to control your half.
Yeah.
So if you can lead yourself through life being true to you, avoiding those impact friction points with people,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna need to not have your inhibitions in the way, causing you to say and do things that you can't take back. And
Yeah.
getting alcohol and drugs off the table is an important first step. And
Good.
one man's opinion: put down the bottle, put down the pipe, put down the papers, whatever those things are, and make a plan and lead yourself to a better place, because we have the discipline, we have the planning skills, we have the management skills to make our lives better
Yeah.
if we take the time to think about it and do it and get the obstacles we put in our own way out of the way. We can do very well. Our
Mm-hmm.
recidivism rate at our homeless shelter, we probably had 130 vets live there, and I think it's 5 of the vets after 14 years have gone back to homelessness. And
Okay.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
because make a plan, lead yourself through life, put down, and all of them have involved. Uh, you'd be surprised. It seems to be harder for them to put down alcohol, particularly vodka, and that would be
Mm-hmm.
the big one I tell them. And if you're going to drink, don't drink vodka. Our experiences are they drink themselves to death on vodka till they're
Yeah.
drink till their stomach aneurysms and bleeds, and they bleed to death from
Ah.
their stomach.
Wow.
Ooh,
The
nasty.
uh, and
Wow.
the ones that can't break it, that
Mm-hmm.
relapse quickly, all seem to be vodka drinkers. The beer drinkers, the whiskey drinkers, wine drinkers fare much better in alcohol withdrawal than the vodka ones. And I don't know why. That's not a formal study, but that's a lot of that's
That's
worth
what
of
you've
watching
seen.
it
Yeah.
happen.
That
Yeah.
is excellent. I think the program that you're running is excellent. The numbers are showing it. And I think just being able, it sounds like you're doing this through a holistic approach and definitely giving them the skills and the tools that they need in their toolbox to be able to maintain sobriety, which is excellent, outstanding,
You're
outstanding.
welcome. All our stuff's free for the vets. If you have people watching, uh,
Yeah.
at valorclinic.org, they can go and fill out the application, send it to us. We'll get them in the next class. Won't cost them a penny. We would not even going to bill their insurance. Our
Oh,
supporters expect us to do this,
Okay.
And so that's what we do. We do what we set out to do, and we ask our supporters to enable it. And fortunately, they do. So they'll leave with a fly rod and a life plan and a
Yeah.
cookbook and
Yeah.
the 4
Wow.
agreements, of course, right?
That's
True.
perfect.
Mark,
love
thank you. So all the
Yes.
years of serving our country, and now you're still serving our veterans, man. Kudos to you. You're doing an
Absolutely.
amazing thing. Awesome.
My name is Mark Baylis, and that's how I became this sober vet.
Recovery thrives on connection. Like, subscribe, and follow this Sober Vet podcast so more veterans can hear the message that change is possible.